Guys, I'm here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. What are my first impressions about Malaysia? Stay tuned. Alright guys, so like I said, I'm here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This is actually my second visit. The first time I went just as a tourist, and I was there for just about 3 or 4 days, I think 4 days. Got a chance to tour around Kuala Lumpur and really enjoyed it as a tourist. And in the back of my head, I always said this is a place that I'd like to return to and explore a little bit further as a place that you could possibly live. Now, there's a lot of things about Kuala Lumpur that are attractive and some things that are not attractive. So let's go ahead and get into right away. Let's just go ahead and start with a couple of the things that are not so attractive for some people. One, the visa situation is a bit more difficult than other countries. On the flip side of that, the good thing is, as an American, and I believe it's probably the same for UK, Canada, Australia, when you fly in, you need no visa whatsoever, and you can stay here 90 days right off the bat. You just have to show a ticket exiting out within those 90 days. It could be a throwaway ticket if you want. And I believe you could then fly out and then come right back in and start the whole process. I don't know how many times you could do that before immigration says, hey, you've been in and out here 4 times now, no more. So I don't know. I've never pushed it to the limit, and I don't know. There are jobs available if you want to teach English. There's even some call centers there where you could be like a coach or something like that. So jobs are much more readily available. I don't want to do this video as a comparison to the Philippines because the Philippines has its own positives and they have their own negatives, as does Malaysia. So I'm not going to sit there and compare between the two countries. I'm just strictly going to do the video on Malaysia. So visa situation, on one side it's bad. Because you can't just sit there like I am going to compare for a sec to the Philippines, but in the Philippines you can keep extending, stay up to 3 years just on a tourist visa without ever leaving. On the other side, the Philippines, you can only enter and stay 30 days, and then you have to start extending and paying visa fees. And Malaysia, you can fly in, do 90 days, no visa whatsoever. I think 90 days, you will know for sure whether this is a place you want to stay. Now, they do have options for retirement visas and things like that. It does take a bit of money. I believe it's like 135K you have to dump into a bank account. And then you need to show a steady income of more than a couple thousand, I believe. So the requirements are much more strict. Now, if you're a richer guy, then it's not a problem. If you're like me, maybe perhaps a little younger, not that young, but a little bit younger than retirement age, and you still need to work a little bit, then you could certainly do like teaching or perhaps working in a call center, a restaurant. I do know there are actually a lot of jobs available for foreigners. I know there are quite a few foreigners here. Another thing, there is quite a mix of people here. So, and I'm going to talk about the negative here, but you have a Chinese, Malay, Indian, Muslim. And so what does that mean? Well, on one side of the coin, that means that there's this great variety of food just everywhere, and the culture's phenomenal. You can go to these street markets and these night markets, and just the amount of food is just mind-blowing. And it's good, and it's inexpensive, and it just blew me away. In fact, the first night when I was touring through the night market, I mean, I ate so much it was almost ridiculous. I overate, and probably will do it again tonight. So the food is just phenomenal because of these big mesh of different cultures here. On the flip side, some people won't like that it is predominantly a Muslim country. I think Kuala Lumpur might be as high as 60%. Now, never did I really see a whole lot of people really in full garb, though, with just their eyes showing, and I can't remember the name of it, so I apologize. But I had nothing but pleasant interactions with everyone, Muslim, everybody. It's like just a mix of people in the city, and everyone seems to get along just perfectly. I went into the Indian neighborhood. I went into and actually toured a few mosques, and I also, you know, went to the Chinese section, and it's just phenomenal the amount of food you can, the food and the different things that you can buy, and the different beauty of Indian and Chinese and Malay and Muslim, and so it's quite interesting. It really makes it a unique city. So the other thing is the city is just extremely modern, very clean, no pollution. English is widely spoken. It's the national language. Malaysia used to be a British colony back in the day, so English is widely spoken here. And in Kuala Lumpur, I actually found the English to be better than most of the Philippines. Now, if you're in Makati and Manila and Cebu, usually you have no problem. I mean, actually, wherever you go in the Philippines, you have no problem with English. However, if you meet a nice girl in the Philippines and you go back to her house, 9 out of 10 times the parents will not even speak English, or just a little bit. It's really the newer generation of Filipinos that know the English. The older ones really don't know English that well, to be honest. What else can I say? The accommodations, they're top notch. The Airbnb I stayed at, $20 a night. I'm going to throw up some pictures here while we're talking. And gosh, it's just much more than what you could get. And again, I said I'm not going to compare against the Philippines, but here I'm doing exactly that. But it is much more than what you can get in the Philippines. In the Philippines, something like this is going to cost you about twice as much and still probably not be as nice. So I really like the accommodations. Now, can I sit here and compare what is cheaper, Philippines or Malaysia? Well, if we're going to do apples to apples, I think Malaysia is going to be a little bit less expensive. Now, because you probably can't really stay in like a province type cheap little apartment like you can in the Philippines. So in the Philippines, if you want to live in the province and live a cheaper type lifestyle, you probably can live cheaper than Malaysia. But Malaysia is going to be a higher quality of life for less expensive. So if you want a higher quality of life and you're comparing it against like Kuala Lumpur against Makati, which would kind of be similar, then Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia is going to be cheaper. Okay, so you know, the one thing that I really like too is it's just very modern. I think I mentioned that previous, and they have a lot of nature. There's a lot of parks available for you to walk around. There are sidewalks, which I really like. You know, and it's clean. And just by the Petronas Towers at nighttime, they have this amazing water light show set to music, and that was really quite nice. And they do that almost on a nightly basis. I think it's at like maybe 2 times at like 7 and 9 o'clock. The Petronas Towers are all lit up at night, and there's just so many beautiful places where you can go and you can walk your dog, and you can just go for a walk in the park. You can walk on sidewalks along the river, and you can have a bike. So just if you're looking for a place that has a lot of great nature, a lot of parks, clean, no pollution, then Malaysia is great. So again, really the only 2 downsides that I see, some people may not like the heavy Muslim population. That might be a problematic for some. I didn't see it really as a problem at all. I kind of like the whole mix of cultures, Chinese, Indian, Malay, Muslim. I thought it brought a lot of uniqueness to the city and a lot of unique foods. Another thing that some people may not like is that visa situation. If you're older and you're ready to retire and you don't want to work in Malaysia, then it is much more expensive than like Vietnam and Thailand and other countries where I think you have to have, like I said, 135K in the bank, and I believe it's like 2,500 a month in income. Now for some people that might not be a big deal, so you can research it further. I'm not going to do all that research yet. Cost of living, I can't do any type of budget video yet because I haven't lived here a full month yet. When that happens, I'll let you know, and I'll get out a budget, and we can even do a comparison from when I lived in Vietnam versus Philippines versus Malaysia. I'll try to do it as close as I can to apples. But again, I'm a huge fan of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Couldn't speak to the rest of Malaysia yet because I really haven't traveled. Second time to Kuala Lumpur. Stay tuned for more videos, guys. Like, subscribe. Guys, make sure you sign up for my Gio in the Philippines Patreon account. That's available down in the description. If you need a one-on-one consultation that's strictly private between us, you're moving out to the Philippines or Southeast Asia, you can email me down in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.